Welcome, everyone, to the Game Vault Podcast. I am your host, Tom Schuster. Joining me tonight is Mark Myers.
Hello, everyone.
Tonight, we'll be discussing Star Fox and its most recent Shadow Drop, and we'll also be reviewing a Retro Roulette game, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past for the SNES. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about what we've been playing. And I guess I'm going to go first because I'm sure I have less than Mark. So I will start by saying if you've been watching our streams, we finished Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah.
Hooray for Tom. We finished
Hooray.
the game.
Yay, Tom. I'm so proud of you. You did that final boss like a champ, by the way.
I don't know. I don't know how we missed like Ultima. Like, he didn't even do Ultima. So I don't know.
Yeah.
We must have just been hitting all the right buttons.
Yeah. Because you only I had to do that last time I played, even knowing stuff. It still took me 3 or 4. It's because I think it all comes down. I'm not going to say luck. You can say RNG. No. Meaning that it just comes down to essentially turn order, whether you get to succeed at times. Because if you get the chance to revive someone before you kill him, you can keep the person. And that just comes down to sheer turn order. Has nothing to do with your skill or anything at playing.
Yeah.
It's not. Luck would be getting a critical hit when you need it. That's what I would consider luck.
Okay.
This is just, it literally comes down to just being in the right turn order or having, the right speed, to be able to revive your dead comrades so they don't leave the party. Because as you found out on the first run,
found that out the hard way.
You can get handicapped because you'll lose like 2 of your best people.
Yeah.
And you still you got them down to half health. I didn't tell you that with just her.
Oh, did I? With just
Yeah.
Oh, Terra,
yeah. Because you were hitting them with like 10,000 points when you did get a hit in. And I think they only have like maybe around 100 or a little over 100,
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I mean, I must have done something right.
Yeah. No, it was whatever you did, whatever we did during the grinding or set, well, you were playing the game, so you mostly, but in terms of setting up that grinding that I found, to get her to where every time she was in her form was just hitting for 10,000 points.
Yeah, that definitely helped because she was hitting massively every time. And Ellis was doing a pretty good job too. I mean, she was doing a good 6,000 damage a hit.
Yeah.
And I think did I have Saban? No, I had Mog, who was doing probably 3,000 to 4,000. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense that we kind of blew through it a little bit, but
I think it's because we leveled up the right people and those people stayed in the fight.
We only lost one person, I think, the whole the second time through. The first time through was not good. Did not go well. We lost Celis at the worst possible time.
Yeah, literally, that's what the dice roll thing I was talking about was. It was literally right. She died. Your guy went next, and that killed that form, and then she was gone.
Yeah, but overall, we did it. I mean, I had a lot of fun. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that you had to like do that much grinding in order to be somewhat okay in that situation. And we didn't even do everything. Like we didn't do all the Gao stuff. Like, he can be very powerful too if you go and do all of his rages, and we barely scratched the surface there. So, and there was I think there was a decent amount of side stuff that we didn't do either, which
that's the main thing why we had to grind the way we did, because there was a whole bunch of side stuff that we skipped because of time. It was quicker to do the grinding that we did than to go through all the side stuff.
Yeah, there was because we didn't do the dragons.
No, we didn't finish the dragons.
There was a bunch of stuff, but yeah. Overall, I enjoyed it. I think not in my top 2. I don't think. I enjoy it's. I don't know why.
I wasn't saying that being sarcastic.
It's it's the first 2D Final Fantasy that I've beaten.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that means anything. I don't know. It was it wasn't as slow as 9. Like, 9 is so slow. Which I'll get to that right now, I guess. I've been playing Final Fantasy 9. I finally reached disc 4. And it's taken me so long to get to the point I'm at, and I haven't done any of the side stuff. Like, barely anything.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't do any of the chocographs. I didn't do any of that stuff, and it's still taking me like 50, something hours to get to disc 4. And that's definitely the one downside of that game is the like whiplash you get from going through like all of this really slow methodical stuff and then all of a sudden the end of disc 3 hits and you get hit with like 5 hours worth of lore in a row where you
Yeah,
barely control
that's
the characters.
yeah. Yeah, that's 100% true with that. The it's funny that 2 of my top 4 Final Fantasies are, you said 9 was slow and, 6 is a little on the slower side too at times. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I just enjoyed them, but I they're perfectly fair criticism of them. They 9 is I think 9 is I don't know if I would have felt the same way about it if I played it when it came out.
Mhm.
I played it after I beat 12.
Okay.
Because then that's when I went on my thing where I beat 10 and I had beat 7, like when that came out. So I beat 10, 12, 13 around there. And I went, you know what? I should go back. And then I beat 9 and 8, and to catch up on all the, PS1 and forward games.
Yeah.
And then, so I think playing it and seeing what it was and understanding that it was just they went to all these futuristic, realistic places, and then they were just like, like the one creator, can't think of the name off the top of my head, just went, no, we're going back to like high fantasy. I want to do high fantasy, and I think that's what drew me in. But I can also
Now, don't get
see,
me yeah, don't get me wrong, I love the high fantasy stuff
yeah,
of 9. It's just super slow, like, especially once you get like, the beginning part is great with the where you're in the play and you have to, quote, unquote, "rescue the princess," or however you wanna call it, but after that, it just kinda, like, really like, hits the brakes, and it's like, "Alright, well, what are we doing here for the next 3 discs?" 'Cause you don't really have a big bad until, like, disc 3.
yeah,
And I don't know, I I guess they did that on purpose, but you you don't even know who Kuja is until, I don't know, end of disc 2, maybe?
end of this too. Yeah,
So, it's
yeah, that's when slight spoilers. I'll say before saying anything. This isn't even a spoiler. It's a location spoiler. I believe the end of this too is when you're fighting him in the rain.
yeah. Yes. Yeah, that makes sense, and then yeah, all of that stuff happens. So, yeah, but, ag I don't know, we'll see how I feel once I'm done with 9,
Yeah,
then I'll make my real decision because 'cause I'm really enjoying 10 right now because 'cause we're streaming 10 now that we finished 6,
10. As I've said on that stream, 10 is my number 2.
and I have a feeling it's gonna be I don't know, I like 13 and I like 16, so
Yeah.
we'll see how it stacks up. But yeah, it's been a lot of Final Fantasy for me. I haven't had a whole lot I've played a little bit more of Tokyo Extreme Racer.
Mhm.
I'm I still love that game. That game is awesome. I'm glad I I went out of my way to get it on a handheld because if I had tried to play it, because when it first came out, it was only out on PC. So if I had tried to play it on PC, I feel like I would never have played it.
Yeah.
But uh, the fact that I was able to get a PC handheld before the world ended again
Yeah.
when it came to PC prices,
Yeah.
uh,
Now, yeah, we're gonna be. Was it CPU prices are next?
yeah, probably because we've gone RAM, storage. So it'll probably be CPUs. I mean, GPUs have been crap since the pandemic, but
Yeah.
CPUs is definitely the next thing because it'll all get eaten up. But anyway, yeah, let's get to what you've been playing, Mark, because I'm just
Yeah.
gonna get depressed if I keep talking about this.
Yeah. So I started out with a lot of things. Between podcasts here, we finished Mega Man 6. I rated it as I keep forgetting my fourth favorite. I think it goes 2, 3, 1, 6 for me. Um, I know it's probably weird because I don't know how many people enjoyed it, but I just had fun with the levels and the bosses. I thought they were well done. There was no cheapness to them for me. It's a lot of what I hated about 4. There was a lot of really cheap bosses, and then 5 had the whole thing that if you didn't get beat, it just made 2 of the bosses harder, or not so much harder, but take longer.
Yeah,
And making the couple of bosses harder behind finding an optional item just made me mad. That's why it's like second. It's like that's 5 is fifth. I put 4 at the bottom. I really didn't like 4. Yeah,
I
I
feel
don't
like
know why.
I feel like
Yeah.
6 kinda went back to basics. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
so yeah, 6 just felt right. And yeah, but the first 3 are incredible. Probably some of the best games. 1 The only reason 1 doesn't rank above them is just because it was, a little too much arcadey still because it, originated Mega Man stuff and Capcom especially, you know, originated in the arcade, so there's still like a point system and all that stuff. That's really weird. But 2 and 3 are just pretty good games. Probably 9 out of 10s, if not 10 out of 10s. But I'm glad I'm done playing all the Mega Mans that have ever been released. We're officially done with Mega Man. I'll never see another one of their games pop up. Not during any future specials that we might be doing soon. There'll be no Mega Mans in that.
I'm sure there
Uh,
won't be anything Mega Man related at all.
nope, not in any of those future features.
Nope.
Yeah, and we're finally in the like end game of Trails in the Sky. We're doing 5 dungeons, it looks like, and we fight the 5 enforcers of the overall shadow group we've been chasing. And if you were at the last stream, and me and Tom know this, Earthguard is still very overpowered. It literally, I was fighting a boss, and a boss did its big move, like its death move, and having Earthwall up absorbed it, and I didn't get hurt. Like,
Yeah, it's a bit broken.
when it happened, I was like, "Oh shit!" So I figured out this might have been in the first game, but I figured out in this game that you can set where the party starts at the beginning of the battle.
Mhm.
So I put them all clustered, which could be bad if the boss goes first and does a super move. But so they're all clustered, and then as soon as the first one with Earthwall comes up, I pop it so all 4 of them get it, and then they split up.
Okay.
um, and then I can Earth Guard from there if they get knocked out, the single spell. But instead of having to luck into, which I had to do in the first game with everybody being next to each other, I set it up to do that. Haven't had to do it for many battles. We did it for that one, the last the boss battle we just did. But yeah, that spell's still great. Whatever we did to level up the characters, when you get a certain, I'm trying not to spoil, when you get a certain character comes back into your party, they are instantly like 9 levels above you, and which made him almost like near 80 when he comes into the party. Um, so whatever I was doing got that leveled up. And then we found out how to kill those. There's these things in both games called shining palms, and I can't imagine if I would have known this sooner how much higher the levels we would have. Or maybe I did need to wait for the guy to come in. But there's shining palms. You can't hit them with a regular hit. They're too fast or whatever. I figured out that if you hit them with dark magic, that hits. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. It's probably the opposite of what their type is. So I destroyed one, and the highest level character got 2,400 XP, and everybody else was over 4 grand.
Wow.
So they like leveled up like 5 levels. Everybody, but the highest level guy went up like 1 or 2. But everyone else got in from the 60s into the 70s. Just by killing that one little tiny special person. And at other times when you fight them, there's like multiples. So I wonder if I do run into the multiple ones again and we can kill them, if I can knock out multiples and like get a ridiculous amount of XP. But yeah, so I'm having a ton of fun. That game's ridiculous. It's really good. I for some reason I want to say, and maybe I'm wrong, that the mainstream sort of what's it called? Slept on it a little bit. As a JRPG.
I would
Um,
agree with that. I don't remember hearing anything about those games until probably 2016,
yeah,
2017, something like that,
and
and
they're
that
really
was
really good.
already way after the fact because they
Yeah,
were on the PS2.
yeah, yeah. And like I said to you, Tom, they're remaking these in like 3D and all that. Not like static camera. Um,
Mhm.
And I said, I'm probably going to most likely buy and play through second chapter just because I noticed watching people play first chapter, that game starts so slow. And you're just with Joshua and Estelle for so long, just the 2 of them.
Yeah.
And the fun part about that game is the other characters in the game. interacting with those two. So, essentially, I want to check that out. But I'm really glad we're almost done that, and then we'll move on to Neo Fantasian from there.
That should be
But
fun.
the two big games that I want to talk about here. First, we'll start with the one that really doesn't have an end game, and we actually streamed it the night we recorded this. I bought Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. I also bought it for Kitty Ashcat because she wanted it. She let me know she was obsessed with seeing the clips of it, so I bought it. Because, as I said to my sister, and I think I said it to you, let the audience know, I will buy her any game that is not Roblox.
I think that's a great plan.
If she expresses interest in anything, Siege, any game, Call of Duty, I don't care. As long as it's not Roblox.
Anything but Roblox. I agree with that.
Exactly. So I created what I'm calling the TC Tam Island. It's basically me, Dan, and Ant, and it'll be 67 of the characters from movies we've seen. And already we've had some success. The people that are not us that are on the island are Dr. Beck, which is Eric Roberts' character from Stalked by My Doctor. Barbarella, which is Jane Fonda's character from the titular movie Barbarella. We have Anna Nicole Smith in there. We have Malibu. We have Neil Breen. We have Cynthia Rothrock. And then we just created for the stream Gerard Butler. And then we succeeded in making Gerard Butler and Dan friends. So they are officially friends. I'm going to see if I can make them best friends and roommates. Because I did the smart thing where me, Dan, and Ant are only attracted to the opposite sex, while everyone else on the island is attracted to everyone. And so, as I explained to Jonathan before he called me a coward, I was like, the reason I did that was because I did not want us dating each other. That would have been the weird thing, even though I kind of have control over it, but it would have just been weird. But it's led to some good things. Like Barbarella and Cynthia Rothrock. Barbarella's like obsessed with her and, is probably going to take her out on a date soon. Dr. Beck is going to all the female characters and trying to be friends with them. So everything's staying within character. But yeah, that game's amazing. In the sheer fact that it's a game that you can play for, it's kind of like Animal Crossing without having to do a lot of the work. Like you don't have to go clean up the island or, do the crops or pick up the bell. You don't have to do. It's basically tune it in, see what's going on, do some work on the island. Put some benches up or some lights. See what the problems are. Put new clothes on the characters. Smash two characters together like you did with your action figures. And just see if they'll talk. And then after about an hour and a half, you can be like, all right, I'll check in tomorrow or the next day. And it's just a game that still runs. They walk around the island when you're not there. So it's a perfect, what I like to call certain games, what's it called? Podcast games. So since everything is captioned, you don't necessarily need to have it on. Like I already know what the voices sound like. The only time I really have to pause and listen is if I'm typing something, I need to hear what they say. And since you can't share your island or anything with anyone through Nintendo's system, you can have them say and do whatever you want. So it's fun. Like Anne has already spread the idea of overthrowing capitalism on the island. And Cynthia Rothrock and Barbara are going around talking about asking people if they want to go kick fools in the face. And yeah, so it's a fun game. If you like those kind of just chill, relaxed games, low stress, and it will literally make you laugh out loud. There were 2 or 3 scenes that happened that you and Jonathan tonight were like, this game is weird. Essentially,
it's quite weird. It is quite weird.
It will make you laugh. Yeah, so having a blast with that. But the one game that I did finish after some drama, I'm never buying a game off Newegg again, because either they're incompetent or Xbox is incompetent. It could go either way. But I'm just going to stick to.
I'd lean towards Newegg personally.
Yeah. So what happened? Short version. I bought a digital code for like $15 off, which made it cost the same as the regular base game. So I was like, sure, I'll get a couple extra stuff, whatever. Well, what they did was the code was for, I guess, the all regions or whatever. Like, it didn't open until the game was released in every region. So I had to wait until the game released in Japan on April 24th, which was a week after it came out everywhere else in the
And that's probably why it was cheaper.
yeah, it could have been, whatever. So they gave me $10 in Newegg credit, and also an extra DLC that didn't come with the packet. So, okay, whatever. But anyway, I really, at some point I just want them to refund me the money, and so I could buy it on PlayStation. But anyway, so I played the game. The game is really good. It's probably, I would say, 8.5 out of 10. Probably going to be in my top 5 game of the year for sure. The voice acting is really, really good. Especially between Hugh and Diana. The cutscenes and dialogue between the characters are real good. The story's a little, retread sort of idea. You could probably pick out some of the twists right away if you've watched sci-fi before. But the heart of the game, Hugh and Diana, is fantastic. And the battle system I really, really loved. It's only like 12 to 15 hours. So it's a short game to finish, but the hacking while shooting is great. The only thing I didn't really love is near the end. It starts to get like in tight spaces. And that's kind of hard. You get this ability that you need to charge up while dodging and hacking, and they put you in tight spaces, and it just gets frustrating. But yeah, boss battles are great. Yeah, I highly recommend it. And it has enough content, that you can do stuff if you want, after the fact. But yeah, they're definitely going to do more Pragmatas. I don't know if it'll be specifically, with these characters. So I don't know how much more of a story you can tell without spoiling. But you can definitely, the world they set up, you can definitely tell stories in that world. So it's kind of like a Fallout thing, So yeah. So that's it. I'm really excited. We got 2 games coming up this month that I should play between in. I'm going to try and play Mixtape. And then we're gonna stream probably both for the Mixtape and what's it called? 007 First Light. So we should get through most of those before the next podcast.
I'm pretty pumped about First Light. Not gonna lie.
I'm excited for it too.
I kind of feel like I need something different than what I've been playing, and I feel like that's gonna be just what I need.
Yeah, and
this will be
and
after I've been playing what's it called for hours on end. Forza Horizon 6.
Yeah, and and for Mixtape, it might be just you get to see me do it live. Because I'm not going to put on streamer mode because that whole game's about music. So we might just need to delete the VODs afterwards.
That's fine.
I'll download them and then delete the VOD and then just see what happens on YouTube.
I mean, YouTube doesn't matter because we're not getting any money out of that anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, you might not be able to see the VOD on Twitch if you watch us that way.
Okay, so I'm sure most of you now have heard about Star Fox and its direct that was not planned that just happened to show up.
A shadow direct.
The shadow direct and the shadow drop. Well, it's not a shadow drop, but it's a shadow direct.
It should have been, to be honest.
Right. If they are going to go out of their way to shadow direct the thing, just make it available.
Yeah.
So nobody saw this coming. I don't know if it was I know there was a leak.
Yeah, so the game being announced, not what the game was, but the Star Fox game being announced was leaked, but nothing else involving it, including when the direct happened, was leaked at all.
And I mean, people have been clamoring for a Star Fox for a long time, and I guess this is what people would want. It's just a remake of 64, which is a remake of the original, which I guess
they remade with Zero.
Right, it's just it's the only game that people want to play of Star Fox, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the 4th remake of the Super Nintendo.
So,
or I guess technically 3rd remake.
Yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny, but the game itself looks great. Like the actual fighting and flying and that stuff looks great, but they went hyper realistic on the characters, and I don't know that was the right answer.
No, it's probably too late in the process of this. I heard a friend I was talking to said that when they first saw Star Fox, it reminded them of Sonic before the redo. funny watching every person I watched that was like doing the talk over. There were some people that are never negative, so they didn't really react, but every like normal person doing it had the same reaction at the same time. When Fox pops up, they go, "Oh no." If you want to have a funny one to laugh at, MinMax is great because their assistant editor is like a huge Star Fox fan. Like, I think he dressed up as like the human version of James McCloud for Halloween once. Like deep super fan. And
Yeah,
his
sounds
whole thing, he just kept repeating, "Oh no, oh no, 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 no." And then every time each character popped up, oh, no, like it's really good.
that's great.
He said the same things you said. Like the game looks good, but they should have went with the Super Mario Galaxy movie version. Yeah, and that's one reason we didn't try and stream that direct is apparently Universal was coming out guns blazing.
Oh, I'm sure
Um,
they were
and
because
shutting down every video until they deleted the Super Mario Galaxy section of it. But
well, yeah, because they gotta they gotta protect
yeah,
their crap.
Miyamoto basically dropping a movie spoiler in the middle of a direct is the funniest thing I've ever.
Well, yeah, it was kind of a big spoiler too, which was like, all right, Miyamoto, do your thing, man. I guess you just don't give a shit anymore. So
Yeah, he's also kind of confused as to why nobody liked the movie. That was a fun story. And it sounds just genuine old man thing, like, oh, I thought they wanted, like, why don't they like my movie? But anyway, back to Star Fox. So if they went, the hyper realistic only works oddly enough for what's his name, the rabbit,
peppy hair.
Peppy. Yeah, Peppy's the only one that looks good. Um,
Yeah, Slippy looks weird
Slippy
too. I
looks
don't
wet.
know.
Um,
I guess that's the point,
he's a
but it's just
toad. Yeah.
yeah, it's
And
off-putting.
and if you're wondering out there, folks, and you haven't watched this trailer, yes, they did give Falcon bird legs or Falco bird legs
As opposed to human legs?
as opposed to human legs. He has bird legs, which draws in all kinds of questions in terms of his ability to fly an airplane or a starfighter.
Maybe he
Um,
doesn't need legs for it, who
yeah,
knows?
but yeah, they I applaud them for, they're animals, so they would look like the animal. The only one that you have to sort of make an adjustment for is Slippy because toads don't usually walk on their two back legs.
Frog legs are a whole other ball of
Yeah.
wax.
So you have to kind of change with that, but yeah, this whole thing, like, I'm excited. Um the whole
Mark, I'm
problem was the last time I played 64 with it, the controller I was using didn't allow me to do those somersaults,
yeah,
which
yeah,
are essential in one level.
yeah, that's
Um and so I didn't get much enjoyment, but I am actually looking forward to this. I don't know if I'll get it day one. Well, I can't get it day one, but if I had a Switch 2, I don't know if I would get it day one, but I would pick it up at some point. It's not like
that's the thing, Mark. I'm just
yeah,
excited for another game for the Switch
yeah.
too.
Like
Like,
I was gonna say to you, Tom, I'm like, if I had a theoretical Switch 2 like you do, I'm like, I would have no interest in picking up Metroid Prime 4. Donkey Kong was probably the only game that wasn't like a port that I would have wanted to pick up,
yeah,
you
that's the
know.
one I have.
For I'm
And
talking
Mario
exclusive
Kart.
Switch 2 games. Like
Mario
Tamagotchi
Kart
Life
came
doesn't
with it.
count because it's on both.
Yeah.
And anything Pokemon, as you all know in the podcast, I like Pokemon games, but I'm not like a person that would run out and grab ZA or even Pocopia. But yeah, this is the first game where I'm like, yeah, I would buy this at some point if I owned the Switch 2. But
It looks like Amazon has it for $49.99.
yeah, it's a $50 or $60. It's not a full.
It's very
And by
tempting.
the way, going back to my Pragmata is also not a full price game. It's only 60.
Well, I think that's still full priced. It's
Well,
not
everything else
80.
is 70. So
Mhm. Is
eh,
it indie developer or is that Square?
who?
Pragmata,
That's Capcom.
Capcom, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
they have
that's
a
why
new
it's cheap.
IP
That's why
that
it's
you
cheap
hear.
is 'cause Capcom.
As a what does Capcom stand for? Because it's in the space program too. That's where they got it from.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something command, whatever. But anyway, I learned this because of the Artemis 2 stuff.
Mhm.
Because through all the videos, it was just a giant sign that said Capcom in the background of some of their shots, and it made me laugh. So that's where I learned that that's where they got their name. But anyway, that tangent. Yeah, the as someone I will pass this on to you. As someone that has played through a lot of 64, if not all of it, multiple times, and has done some Super Nintendo Star Fox, is the updated graphics because that grabbed me enough to make you dive into a game you've essentially beat a whole.
I think it would. I think it will. It also looks like they're adding a little bit more stuff. So the fact that they're doing that too would probably push me to buy it. But it's again, it's just the lack of games in the Switch 2 library is really what's gonna push people to buy this
Yeah,
because there's nothing else right now. You got Metroid Prime 4 is like one of those games that everybody was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be pumped about when it comes out," but that was 10 years ago.
yeah,
So I feel like the hype for that game just kind of went away, and
yeah,
then
and apparently nobody really liked it. Like I saw a couple. Like I know famously Giant Bomb's Dan Riker gave it a 5 out of 5, and he's just been getting shit on ever since. About it. And obviously he's a good sport if you ever listened to Dan about it. But apparently it's like been very mid to everyone else. And like I said, we've heard no hype about it. So and yeah, Star Fox going to sell really well, A, because there's nothing on there, and it's going to be they're going to need something to get people to buy Switch 2s because with the prices going up, which will be on you would have heard me talk about this on the news hour. So I'll save full thoughts for when I'm reading the story. But they need because I think the only other thing they're going to announce because this thing existing leads us that the other leak that happened with this is going to be true and probably announced at Summer Games Fest. Is that they're doing an Ocarina of Time remake.
I mean,
Um,
that was kind of we kind of knew that was coming at
yeah,
some point.
yeah, and I've gone back and forth, being the Zelda sicko that I am. I think Ocarina is the right game to do. I think the only way one works, and maybe even Link to the Past, is if you do them in the Link Awakening style of remake.
Yeah, you'd have to do the HD 2D.
Like the chibi,
Yeah.
thing, not like 3D, full 3D.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
I mean, I don't know that you could really do it with 1 or A Link to the Past 3D. I don't know how that would work.
yeah, it would be tough, especially when you look how they set up the map. I have them as shadow boxes on my wall, the light and dark world maps. It would be hard to do a 3D because you'd have to create stuff that's not there in the
Mhm.
original map. Like half of Death Mountain isn't actually there, but since you don't ever look at it from like an looking up thing, you don't notice that.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
yeah, 'cause can't look up.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think Ocarina is the perfect thing because I know it's an argument I've gotten into with or discussion with people we know and all that. Is I always think the thing is to find the easiest barrier to entry if you want to get somebody invested in a long term series. And I think Ocarina is that game for Zelda. It has all the Zelda trappings. It has, a good story, enough of a Zelda story, and it's not weird as Majora's a little weird despite being good. Twilight Princess is even a little weird with the wolf stuff. Wind Waker with all the bird stuff. It's like Ocarina
It's the
is
it's the
Zelda
most
as Zelda.
right, it's the most straightforward of
Yeah.
them.
And if your kid likes this, then you introduce them to the other stuff. It's always been my argument with Mario is if you want to introduce them to 3D stuff, you start with like, 3D World or something like that. And then see if they want to go back to 60, or in 2D realm, you start with World or 3 and see if they want to play 1, because just because we had to suffer through the growing pains of a series getting to its height doesn't mean we need to introduce to our kids that way. That's just my opinion, as everyone knows on this podcast. And I don't care. Honestly, I don't care which way you do it as long as kids aren't playing Roblox. We've established that.
Yes.
Your
Now
kid could play. Your kid could play Spirit Tracks for all I care, as long as it's not Roblox.
there is one more argument coming out with this game, and it's where is F-Zero? Why is there no F-Zero game? They
Ooh.
put out F-Zero 99. That was, I think they were throwing people a bone with F-Zero 99. I saw a joke, I think Cheap Ass Gamer posted like, now still available F-Zero GX on Nintendo Switch Online. There's no other F-Zero game,
Yeah.
which it's a valid point. Like where's F-Zero? That's the only other like big franchise that they haven't moved up to the Switch, or even there was no
No.
Wii or Wii U F-Zero games either. So
No. GX is the last one. Yeah, and we're saying Nintendo centric.
yeah,
Nintendo
yeah,
developed ones.
first party
Yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I instantly think they have to make a new Castlevania for Switch 2, which I think they are. So that even takes away my argument. That F-Zero is still the only one. I feel that they should do it, but it feels like to me that I don't know if they know how to make one. Not in the sense of like technical, like I think they know how they can make one, but like what is that game besides cars go fast or ships go
I
fast?
think that's all it is. Cars go
Like
fast.
no, but what I
Um,
mean is like how do you like differentiate the levels? Like that's what I mean, but like what's like not gimmick's the wrong word, but like what's the hook?
no, that's
What's the
gimmick's the right
thing?
word. I yeah, you got to figure out because like in the original game they have like Big Blue, which is like icy, and you have the wind one, and you've got like
Yeah,
they've got plenty of stuff they could figure out,
yeah,
but it's just a matter of them actually doing it.
yeah. And maybe the studio, they haven't found a studio that wants to do it, or the one that did do it doesn't want to do it anymore.
Well,
Nintendo's weird.
the last one to do it was Sega. Sega did GX.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I don't know. I don't
I
know
don't
if
know. Put
anybody
Sonic
else.
in F-Zero.
Sure, put anybody you want. I mean, they put James McLeod in F-Zero, so why not put
That's true.
anybody else in it?
By the way, we didn't even get to that point. James McCloud might be the coolest motherfucker on the planet. In that,
Absolutely, he's like
that's-
he that so that part alone is what
yeah,
is makes me kind of want to get the game
yeah.
is the prologue stuff.
Such a badass in that 5 minutes that you see him. I'm like, he makes Star Fox look like a chump. Like,
He also makes Star Fox look fat. Like
yeah,
Fox looks like a chubby
yeah.
like
It's just
loser
really, really
compared
good.
to his dad.
Yeah. I saw the thing was the reason they chose the characters like this, was because they didn't want anybody to want to have sex with their character. So they made them look all weird.
I don't think it's gonna make a bit of difference. People are
No,
still gonna
no.
wanna have sex with him.
Yeah.
That's just
No,
the
once
way.
they showed off, I do want to finish. I've realized we didn't finish the Star Fox, unless you were going to circle back to it. The one thing that might work even in a F-Zero thing is the VTuber stuff that they
Yeah.
showed off with Star
That was
Fox.
really cool. I would never
Yeah,
use it, but it was cool.
yeah. As Kyle, what's his name? From Easy
Awesome.
Allies, used to be on Easy
Awesome.
Allies. Bossman said, "Watch it." By the way, if you just want to laugh for he's like losing it through the entire trailer and like pausing and just it's great. It's a fun time. But he says in there that Nintendo does not know how many people's dreams they made come true by allowing them to VTube Star Fox.
He's not wrong. Certainly not wrong.
And then they showed it in action, and he went, "Oh, that might actually be cool to do." When it's in the little chat window.
Yeah, that's what I
You know,
mean. It's pretty cool, but I don't know when I'm ever gonna have 4 people that also have Switch 2s
yeah,
to
no, because you
play
can do it with other
online.
games. It doesn't like you
Is
can
it
be playing Star Fox, but if your friend's playing something else, your chat
are you
window is
sure
Star
about
Fox.
that?
Yeah, that's what they said because they had him playing Mario. The other
Oh,
player
okay.
person playing Mario, and he was down in the corner as his video was the VTubing.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's cool that it's there, but again,
It
I don't
it kills
know.
your frame rate from everything I've ever seen. And that's one thing I love about Nintendo. Slight tangent. They do not shy away by how terrible the frame rate is when you're doing this multiplayer video thing.
Oh, no, they absolutely know that it's terrible.
And they just let it run. Like, oh yeah, it sucks, but here you go. What other game lets you talk as Star Fox at 15 frames per.
I don't even know if it's that. It's like
Yeah,
6.
it's probably real. Yeah, it was great. But yeah, I think if you can do VTubing stuff, which would be amazing for this camera to do. I think that's the thing to take away from it the most is that if they can harness that's the gimmick for this. Like if
Yeah,
they
but
can
I don't know
figure
how they're gonna harness it.
But I'm just saying, like, how you always trying to figure out what's the gimmick for a
Yeah.
Nintendo system because they all have one. You thought it might be the mouse for this, but that hasn't really been used or worked out well.
Nah,
You're going to try it for this.
nobody's really the mouse is not caught on at all.
Yeah. And then I saw
Not
this and I'm
yet.
like, you know what? That can be something people can run with and, do some things with, even in a Nintendo way. You can get into a sicko's way, but even in a cutesy kid Nintendo way, like, just have the kids being able to be their favorite character, you know, from a game or something,
Mhm.
as their camera person so that they're not on camera or something. Like, I'm like, this feels like something. I know VTubing technology has been out there forever and is much better than what Nintendo is doing, but there's always something to be said about when you bring it to the masses, and bring something in that we know about, because I keep using this word all night, because we're sickos on this. We know all the little things that go on Twitch and technology out there, and we stay on the cutting edge just because we do this podcast and we stream and stuff like that. But like the average Nintendo gamer probably has no idea what a Uber is in some sense.
Yeah, you're probably right.
The younger ones, yes, because I feel like VTubing is a very young person's game, like 20, even into teenager. But I'm talking about like your adult that is in their 30s and 40s. This is a whole new idea, and it's something they can bank on. But it can also go really wrong, like VR and all that. But that was the thing I took out of that, was that they finally showed something that can be moved forward past this too.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to take a while for that to mature, but I do think that it's cool that it's a thing and it'll keep you from having to, show your face if you don't want to. So, we'll see where that goes. But like I said, the thing that pulled me in the most was the prologue stuff, the fact that you can play as James, and I'm interested to see how like the ground levels work, and there was an underwater level too, which I don't remember ever playing an underwater level in
Apparently, the
64.
Blue Marine is in 64. I heard
It's
somewhere. I don't
probably
know.
like the hard run that you'd never do. I don't remember ever seeing it, but I probably there. I don't remember. But yeah, I mean it, like I said, this will sell because it's the only thing out on the Switch too. The only first party thing, at least, besides Donkey Kong and Mario Kart, which if you have a Switch 2, you own those already because again, they're the only thing available. So yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's cool that they did the Shadow Direct. I wish
Yeah,
they would have Shadow dropped it because there are so many cool Shadow dropped games that have. I mean,
yeah.
they Shadow dropped Metroid Prime Remastered, so they should have been able to do this too. But maybe they just weren't ready because of the leak. That's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, it just going to the Slate thing, talking about shadow games. One of the most famous ones is what's that? The shooter from
Apex Legends.
Titanfall, Apex Legends.
Yeah.
That might be the most famous because they literally, from what I remember, and again, I didn't research this before we went on the podcast, but I believe they actually brought like journalists and stuff to like a thing, like to show off. How they do preview events
Hmm.
to like show off a new game, and then Vince Zampella showed this off. And was like, and you know what? It's out today. At this event, and
Yeah, it's
just
pretty wild.
put it out there, and it was really good. It's what everybody said they should have done for that High Guard game.
Yeah.
That they should have just shadow dropped that in the same way. It just goes to show you that as much money as they pay for Summer Games Fest and Game Awards, final games or whatever, sometimes your game just needs to be like a thing that you drop and then see what happens.
I
Because
mean, a big one that I remember was Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush was a
yeah,
shadow drop.
yeah,
People love that game,
yeah. If
including us.
as we say, we're all, at least I'm a peppermint person, but um I think all these games that had success shadow dropping have in common is that they would be really hard games to market, and it was just easier to drop them and put them in, the hands of the player and see what happened. Get the boost of somebody going, "Oh, wait, this is actually good." sort of response to it, rather than everybody anticipating high guard and then it drops and everybody goes, "This is it."
What's the
You
thing?
know,
Like it could go either way because you could have way too much hype around a game, Metroid Prime 4, for example,
yeah,
waiting forever for a game to come out, or like Kingdom Hearts 3, or any of those games that you waited over 10 years for, or you could have the opposite effect where if you just drop it, no one has any expectations, then I think you could really catch people off guard and people be surprised and like it. I don't know.
the
It's a slippery slope when it comes to hype in games, especially now with social media. So many people will hype up a game or make up what the game is supposed to be in their head, and then it just not be that because it's been out. Like they've been waiting for so long for this game to come out. So
yeah. Yeah, I think there are certain games that it works for, and you have to understand your game. Like,
absolutely,
rest in peace, Vince Zampella. But that is one guy that sort of understood the products he put out. Like he knew that at dropping, Apex, like he did. I'm just gonna double check that it was him, but I'm pretty sure it was. It was like, hey, this is Titanfall. Titanfall is good, but it's 3v3, PvP, sort of game. And didn't need the hype machine, didn't need anything because it had the backing,
well, the
it
other
had
thing
that.
was people were clamoring for Titanfall 3, so he was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, this is your Titanfall 3. This is it."
Yeah.
So, that's why everybody started playing it because what they wanted.
Yeah. And it was and the same thing goes for, the Hi-Fi Rush developers. They're probably like, it might just be easier to make this like a surprise hit, take our chances with that than try to figure out some kind of marketing because
Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush is a tough game to market.
yeah, I can't, I played through the game and loved the game. And I can't even think of a way you could properly market what that game is. Even though they didn't do it because they did early access, but a game like Hades is sort of the same way. That's why they do the early access. It's like, it's kind of like we need to put it out there and, get some kind of testing done with
You
it.
gotta games like that need word of mouth.
Yeah.
Like, when you played Hi-Fi Rush and I saw it and I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to play this." 'Cause just seeing it and knowing how it
Yeah.
worked, it definitely pushed me to get
Yeah.
that game and
And
play it.
not that it needed it,
No.
but essentially my streaming got at least two people I know to purchase Expedition 33. Um
Yeah, I'm one of them.
just to play it. And a friend of the podcast, Ye Old Goat, who's like, I never play these type of games. I watched you play it and it looks fun as hell. And I bought it and it's fun as hell. And I think even though that game is hype, but the same idea of word of mouth. And if you know your game, it's a shadow drop to me is one of two things. And you can almost tell immediately when the game drops which one of these two things. One, you are extremely confident that it's a good game. You know it's good. You know your players are going to love it. You know the audience is going to love it. And you're like, I don't even need to promote it. I just drop it and say it's a game for me. I made that, and everybody will love it. That kind of confidence. Vince Zampella. You want Titanfall 3, you're not going to get it. You're going to get Apex Legends. You're going to get it. And then everybody loved it. Or it's if we don't like release this now, they're not going to give us funding for another 6 months. So here you go.
Yep.
Out today. I kind of feel like that was what the God of War side scroller was, by the way.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
They're not going to give us another 3 months to polish this. We got to drop it today. And if maybe it was in a fiscal year thing. I forget exactly when that came out. It might have been a fiscal thing too. But it's one of two things, and you basically like that game disappeared in terms of the zeitgeist.
I forgot it came out.
Yeah, but at the time we still remember Hi-Fi Rush and Apex Legends.
Mhm.
So, like I said, immediately when the game drops which one of those two things it was because nobody from that I saw that made or created or was involved with that God of War thing was like out there, like pumping it up when it got released. I may have missed it. Maybe I'm not as deep into gaming lore as I thought I was or knowledge. But yeah, the Hi-Fi Rush people were out there immediately. Apex Legends was out there immediately. And it's a cool way to do it, but it's also got to be a game that is either a live service type deal like Apex was, where there's no expectations on length of game, or it's got to be such a unique concept that everybody will love it, like Hi-Fi Rush. You
Mhm.
can't just shadow drop Zelda,
I mean, you could. You
You
could.
could, but but my point being, like, if like meaning shadow dropping Zelda does nothing for it.
Right, you wanna hype that up. You
Yeah, you won't get you won't get any more things by shadow dropping it than you would promoting it. You may even get less. People may forget about it. Like like the one starring Zelda that I'm sure many people have forgotten about.
uh,
And
was it Crypt of the Necrodancer?
no, whatever the one where Zelda's the protagonist, the most recent one that they put out.
Oh, what was that one
I
called?
forget the name of it too.
Honeycomb.
Echoes of Wisdom.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to keep babbling until it came into my brain. Uh, but yeah, like that game gets forgotten, even though it's a Zelda game. Not that that was Shadow Drop, but it's like it's never a guarantee with it. So why not promote the shit out of it and take your best shot at getting it known? But yeah, my point being, it works best for it has to be a developer or a person, like a developer, as in a singular person, not an entity, or maybe even an entity, but like has a reputation. Like if say he leaves Remedy, if Sam Lake drops a game, like
Yeah.
everybody like, all right, I'll check out this weird shadow drop Sam Lake game. Sure. You can't shadow drop if you have no, and this is obvious. I know I'm probably talking obvious market and advertising. But you can't shadow drop a game that nobody knows who you are or what it is. Like these are
Yeah,
special
you gotta have a
situations.
right, you gotta have a little bit. You gotta have a little bit of
Yeah.
knowledge of
Which
who.
is why Star Fox fits perfectly. F-Zero fits perfectly in that as well.
Right. Can
Um
you imagine if they shadow dropped an F-Zero game? People would
at
freak
Games
out.
Fest? Sure.
People
I
would
mean,
freak out.
yeah. Yeah. Like, why not? Like I said,
Well,
the big
they
thing at Games Fest is
technically
probably going to be Zelda, but why not in the middle of that direct or whatever you do that week go, hey, we got a new F-Zero game out. It's a remake of the Super Nintendo game. Everybody would freak out.
yeah. I mean, that's kinda what they did with F-Zero 99, but that it was a lim is F-Zero 99 a limited time one too? Or was that
Maybe
just I forget.
the Mario one I know for sure was limited. I don't know if I still see advertisements for Tetris 99, so I think that's still going. But the Mario 35 thing or whatever it was, that was
Yeah, which was so dumb.
yeah,
Anyway, that's a whole other rant.
yeah,
Yeah, anyway, so if you guys wanna check out Star Fox, let us know what you think of it, and, if you're gonna buy it. I'd be interested to hear.
yeah. And I,
Um,
I will recommend that if you want to if you want to just watch it unimpeded, go ahead and do the Nintendo thing because you'll get to see the movie stuff too because they didn't take it out of that. But I would highly recommend if you want to go watch other people watch it, is definitely go to MinMax and Kyle Bossman. Those are the two that do the most analysis of it because Kyle especially is underrated for his knowledge.
I agree.
While also making it fun and entertaining with their legitimate reaction to things. Max is pretty good too.
Yeah.
Max Million Dude. I'll just mention the one thing he says in his that's great is he just says at one point he's like, "Oh, I wonder if they're going to go back to Cornery and show you the thing where Falco goes through the waterfall." And then the next thing is like, "There's multiple ways to finish a level," and then it shows Falco go through the water.
Uh, good.
And he's like, they just made the thing, But anyway, yeah, let us know. You can hit us up on all social medias. And a little cross podcast promotion here. I've been doing it on the streams and all because it is really where all of us are sort of gathered. If you want to drop $1 to the TC Tam, they call this a movie Patreon and get access to that Discord, you'll get to talk about other things besides video games, but the video game chat in there is pretty robust and a fun time. And I will be posting photo updates of Tamagotchi in there as well. But I would love to be talking some Star Fox in there as well with you.
Awesome. So yeah, we're going to move on to our next segment, which is Retro Roulette, where I think we're just gonna gush about A Link to the Past for a little while. Our Retro Roulette game for this week was
Yeah.
The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past for the Super Nintendo, which, if you've listened to this show at all, you know that that is Mark's favorite video game of all time.
Yes.
And I don't know how we've somehow not played it yet on this
Yeah.
show,
It didn't come up.
which is amazing.
Yeah, I'm glad we did. I mean, I've played it a bunch on the stream.
You have.
Um,
I've never
yeah,
played it on stream.
yeah, yeah. But I'm very interested because I can go on my thoughts about it and what I did as part of the stream this week or the month that we've had here. But I would love to get what your thoughts are playing through it.
So, I I've enjoyed the time I've spent with it. I've never beaten the game. I've never gotten to the, Dark World either. But I put a good, 5 to 10 hours into the game.
Have you
Um,
you have never had to face my mortal nemesis?
no, I have not. But I've played long enough to get the Power Glove and all that stuff. But, right off the bat, it just throws you right into it, and I really enjoy that. Um, the music is great, the the graphics are great, the coloring of everything is super bright, and I guess that's the point in the beginning for it to be bright and colorful and
Yeah,
lively, so the dark world is even darker.
yeah, exactly.
But I get why people love this game. It's easy to get into. It doesn't like it's not so my main problem with newer Zelda games is how quickly and easily you can die without even trying. This game, I feel like it's not nearly as difficult to get started, which is nice.
Yeah,
And it guides you way more than a newer Zelda does also, because the newer Zelda is like, "Oh, just go over there. It's you might find something. Just go. It's fine. You'll find it." Whereas here, they actually mark something on the map, and you can go, and it gives you a little more guidance. That, to me, is a lot better, personally. I hate when it's just like, "Oh, yeah, here's a sandbox, and just go."
yeah,
I'm not a big fan of that.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, this game, I wish I would have played it when it came out. I wish I would have had a Super Nintendo and been able to play this because I have a feeling it would have been one of my favorite games too if I had grown up with it. But yeah, it's one of those games that you need to play if you own a Super Nintendo or you have a way to try to play one of these games. I feel like it's one of those
yeah,
must plays.
yeah. So everybody knows how I feel about it. So uh,
Well, just
we
give us
could just skip
quick,
it,
just give us
but
a quick overview of like,
oh yeah, no, I was getting to that. I was just making it. Yeah, you know what I'm probably going to give it a score to. But the one thing I will say, the criticisms I've heard, and I understand, and it's probably because I've beaten it 20, 25 times vanilla in my life, plus the half a dozen to 20 times, or I'm sorry, a dozen to 20 times that I've beaten randomizers of it. Knowing the game inside of out, this I haven't experienced this part recently, but the thing I've heard from Dan and Jen when they play through it and a little bit with you on stream is sometimes it's just hard to know where to go in certain situations. And I can see that. I can see why first playthroughs of this game are like 15, 16 hours or more. While I can regularly beat it in under 5 or 6. That's the one criticism, but it also comes from a time where not so much the instruction manual thing that we mention, all the time,
yeah.
but also from Link's Awakening had this. I don't remember if Zelda had this. I think Zelda 2 has it, but they were very much into having a hint system in the game to tell you where to go for
Yeah,
things.
you absolutely need to talk to everyone.
Yeah, and you need to, and if you don't really know what you're doing, you might need to go spend money on the fortune teller.
Which is
So
nice that there's a fortune teller. That's
yeah,
not something that many games had.
yeah, Link's Awakening has like a phone booth thing you go to. I think Zelda 2 has a similar, like, the people in town tell you where to go when you go into towns. But yeah, it's very much got that hint system. And if you don't take advantage of it, you get lost first time through. Like literally, I did the hint system because I had played on Monday. I did the retro achievements, which I think I could get all of them except for like one or two. There's you can't save state, so doing a lot of the don't get hit by the boss ones will require me dying and running back into the dungeon.
Mhm.
But the fortune teller told me because I checked with her just to see if that wasn't a like a achievement. And basically she told me to go get Zora's flippers. Like, oh, there's a fish up north named Zora, like like sort of in a fortune teller way, to go up there and get the flippers because you'll need them pretty soon. And you can also get the bottle and all that if you get the flippers around the point she told me to go get the flippers. But yeah, there's little things like that, like knowing, how to get the bug net. Like you say, if you talk to everybody, you'll eventually figure it out. But first time through, you won't. But multiple plays through this game is where it really shines. And I think I think of all the randomizers I've seen people play randomizers, as much as I love Super Metroid, I don't know that game enough to enjoy the randomizer, and I don't think it's a game that lends itself to being a good randomizer, but that's me. Um, uh, Zelda itself is such a, each dungeon has the weapon you need to finish the dungeon. Whether it be in Eastern, you need the bow to get past the red soldier to get into the final boss room, or else you can't get into that boss room, which we found out on stream because I had forgotten to go grab the chest, and I got all the way to that room and went, fuck, and had to turn back around and go get it. It's just very straight that when you get a weapon, you know what you can do and what you can do, and that's why I love the rank. And I think it works really well with that. I can have it could be frustrating as your first Zelda. That's why I've been saying I came to the realization that Ocarina is probably the one to do, to sort of to understand Zelda as Zelda games. But the greatest thing about Link to the Past is that, it's still challenging, whether you played it, 20, 40, 50 times, or you played it a couple times. The bosses are kind of like punch out fighters where you got to learn their tells and learn their things to defeat them easier. It is amazing that the third boss in the game is probably the hardest to me. Moldorm in Hera Tower, you have to hit its tail 6 times, and then the 5th time,
that's the dude that can knock you off the.
Yeah, that's Moldorm. Yeah, and that was part I was going to do. And you can also get knocked off the stage. And the nefarious part is when you get knocked out and you come back up, the hit counter resets. So you have to hit
of course.
which actually helped me with the what's it called? The achievement, because you get an achievement for not getting hit by them. And since it resets, if every time I got hit, I just fell off and came back up to keep that achievement live. But when you hit him the 5th time, he goes real fast, for the 6th and final hit, and it just gets annoying on that thing. So the funny thing was one of our friends, John, his wife, was also, played, I think he got a Raspberry Pi or something like that, and she was playing Link to the Past, and John at one point was like, yeah, she's just cursing at this one boss. I don't know what it was. And I was like, was it a guy that's followed her around, and when she get hit, she got knocked off the stage? She's like, yeah, Moldorm. Everybody hates Moldorm. The best part about that is I think it actually sets you up for the Dark World bosses, because then to figure out the gimmick to be able to beat them is the easiest way. But when you do a randomizer and you're at level 4 sword, by the time you face Moldorm, to just walk in with the level 4 sword known as the butter sword, because it looks like he's holding a stick of butter.
A big yellow sword.
The yellow sword takes I think it's 2 hits or something, or 3, and doesn't even get to the speed up thing, and it feels so good to just wipe them out very quickly. But yeah, overall, I think Link to the Past, I have this argument with Ant. I don't think there's a such thing as a perfect game, or even a perfect anything, because then we would just stop making things. If somebody made the perfect of it, everything has its flaws, everything is good, but this is as close to a perfect game as you can get. And I think it takes everything in from the first 2 games, kind of like what Super Mario World did with 1, 2, and 3, and just made it. It just showed that the Super Nintendo, I could argue, and because we're old, we probably are one of the rare ones that would argue it. It's probably the best console that was made, because it was before.
It's definitely the best 2D console.
Yeah,
because I can make an argument for other ones, but
yeah,
right,
yeah.
That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah. But not to drop hot takes in here. But Link to the Past, great game. Great music. I still listen to the soundtrack every so often. You got to watch if you're listening to it over speakers, because some songs get incredibly loud for no reason, out of nowhere. But overall, it's my favorite game of all time. And yeah, it's one I constantly go back to.
and I think it's absolutely warranted. So let's give it a score.
Yeah, so I'll go first. So Tom can justify whatever score he ends up giving it. Obviously, for me, it's a 5 out of 5. No notes, as they say. The only thing I wish was a little better for nowadays gamers going back is, and Link Between Worlds sort of helps with this, is just make it a little bit easier not to get lost. Obviously, it was a different time and place. There were probably hints in the book, you know, and stuff like that that would help you and probably helped me at first. But playing it in 2026, that's really one of the only things about it. But yeah, I wouldn't change a thing about it.
Yeah, I would also give it a 5 out of 5. It's like I said, like we were saying, it's tough to beat that game, especially when it comes to being like a system seller. Link to the Past was definitely it, and it's still one of those games that holds up. I'm glad that we've come back around to being able to play 2D games and people enjoy them.
Yeah.
As for during the beginning of the 3D era, you would have thought that yeah, they're never coming back, but I'm glad they have. Glad people still play them. And I think that A Link to the Past is one that everyone should play.
And you can even see influences of games today. Literally, a lot of the inspiration for games like Mina the Howler, is it's called, game that's coming out in a couple weeks here, takes a lot of inspiration from Link's Awakening and Link to the Past, which are essentially the same game, in a sense. One just was on Game Boy, and you can see that the people making the games now grew up with these games.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. It's still that stuff is still around and people still take inspiration. All right. I think it is time to spin the wheel.
Let's do it.
Okay, we've got something completely different. We're going to be playing Hot Shots Golf 2 for the Sony PlayStation. If anybody's played Hot Shots Golf on PSP or the original PlayStation or anything, I forget what it's called now. They called
Everybody's Golf.
Everybody's Golf. Yeah.
That's what it
So
was called in Japan, kind of like
yeah,
Biohazard for Evil.
right. Yeah, they couldn't use the word Hot Shot. They couldn't use Everybody's Golf here because nobody would know what the hell they were talking about. But yeah, this should be a fun game. So I'll be playing this the Monday after you hear this.
Yeah.
And we'll discuss it and then we'll give it a score on the next episode. And if you have played Hot Shots Golf 2 and have opinions on it, feel free to reach out to us on all our socials at GameVaultPod. We're on Threads, Blue Sky, and we're occasionally on Instagram. So hit us up over there. If you have not played it, feel free to load it up on whatever you own, Mr. Raspberry Pi, emulator, original hardware. Load it up, see what you think, and let us know if your score lines up with ours next time. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun with that, and hopefully we'll be able to have Jen on next episode so we can finally do our backlog buster
Yeah.
for for Steam.
Yeah, and choose new ones.
And choose new ones because I'm actually I think that I'll have beaten this one before that is over. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. That's hopeful for next month. This is a very busy month for everyone. June should calm some things down, hopefully. But yeah, join us on stream on Twitch. We're usually there four times a week. Usually it's Thursday through Monday, with a possible off day in between, depending on how Mark's feeling. And join us on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@GameVaultPod. Mark, do you have anything else you want to plug? You want to plug TC Tam?
Yeah, no, yeah, I highly recommend. It's patreon.com/TCTAM pod. Like I said, that gets you access to the Discord. It's only $1 a month. I hope yeah, if you were a fan of ours, you would be willing to give $1 to be able to join that. It's a fun time. We have a handful of people already over there, and it's active. I wouldn't say this if it was like as inactive as our Discord is. I literally can get notifications on my phone, and it's half of the notifications I get throughout the day. It's from the Discord between music, video games, movies, question of the week, picks of the week. You can drop a picture, or if you draw something, maybe drop it in there. Anything and everything you want to talk about with us. But like I said, the video game one is jumping a little bit in there, as they say. I've been posting Tomodachi Life stuff, and it's a fun time. I love doing that. And yeah, I think the main thing for me to push is that between now and us playing through 007 First Light, beginning May 27th, I should say May 28th or 29th, because I am going to AEW Dynamite on the 27th. So I will not be able to do it on launch day. We'll probably be playing either mixtape or Tomodachi Life. If we play mixtape, make sure you are there live. If you just watch us on Twitch and do not do the YouTube, or maybe YouTube also stops it, because that game is known for music, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get muted all over the place on Twitch. And I'm just going to delete the VOD after downloading it. And yeah, I think it'll be a good time. I've heard great things about that game. So I am eager to check it out.
Yep, me too. I can't wait to see you play through that. So, thank you everyone for joining us this evening or this morning or wherever you are. Hopefully we will see you on the streams and on YouTube. So, thanks again. And for Mark, I'm Tom, and we will catch you guys in the next one.